hope you're doing well. That was like a demonstration of what I'll be making today. It's basically this system that incorporates like a few different techniques I'm using, and I've probably like explored some of them in previous videos as well. But yeah, puts like a lot of my techniques and ideas together into this one thing, which is basically utilizing different MIDI tools and some like existing like MIDI data that's like pretty simple, and just like switches through different instruments and effects in a way that makes everything kind of glitchy but also like consistent. So yes, like I'll just start making that. Every time it obviously like sounds kind of different because there's like a lot of parameters, and yeah, I'm gonna open a MIDI track and I'm actually gonna use the same MIDI I was using for this, which you're gonna see it's like something very simple. You can honestly use anything. And then this one. I'll actually take this whole thing. I think there's some variation here. Okay, so yeah, that's a thing. I'm gonna like start with an operator, and I'm gonna bring a note echo over here, and in addition to that, I'm gonna bring this envelope MIDI. So for those of you who don't know, note echo is basically like a delay device but for MIDI, and it's very powerful because you can like control the velocity of the MIDI notes with this delay knob, and you can also control like the pitch of the delay notes that are generated with this pitch parameter over here. Or I can set it to 7. And yeah, I'm actually gonna use the envelope MIDI over here to modulate this delay time, which might sound a bit weird. I need to set it to this mode, and then and yeah, I just like, it was like a bit of a random decision, but I like how this envelope MIDI is like modulating the delay time. It's just like sticks to a certain delay rhythm for a bit and then switches a bit fast and goes back. And obviously sounds very different compared to like just having it set to already that's like a really, I think, interesting rhythm that you can like set up very easily with these two devices and literally any MIDI clip. I'm gonna then bring in an LFO and set it to stray, lower the rate a bit, and I'm gonna modulate the delay, like the velocity basically of this note, right? I'm gonna limit it a bit though. I don't want them to be super quiet or non-audible. And I would even like go ahead and modulate the attack of the envelope. The envelope MIDI also, I didn't explain, but if you don't know what it is, it's basically like It's basically just like an envelope that is being triggered whenever you play a note, right? So you can also like modulate anything with that. You can map it anywhere. So yeah, also some extra variation by doing this little thing with the LFO on the attack of the envelope MIDI. I'm gonna go ahead and make an instrument rack, so Command Z, opening this menu right here, and I'm gonna like bring in a collision like this preset, and now these two are gonna play together, right? I'm gonna start to like mess around with some parameters, expression control. Again, if you watch the previous videos, I use expression control a lot, and I have this like fixed rack which just, you know, has some important parameters mapped to the macros already, and then everything here is set to random. So yeah, I'm gonna start to also, again, I've mentioned this before, but setting this expression control after the note echo means that every note produced by the note echo is gonna trigger the expression control, which is then gonna modulate you know, anything that we choose. So yeah, I'm gonna do this, maybe like that. I'm gonna like just tweak a few parameters that I usually like to also. This is gonna make it like very glitzy and very interesting. So let's go to the collision and use like the same expression control to modulate actually the resonator type. So every time a new note triggers, we're getting a different type of resonator. I'm gonna do the same for like these parameters. I'm gonna get like a new expression control, and I'm gonna map that to this pitch envelope. And the time of the pitch envelope. So, you know, I actually don't want them to play together. I want to create like a sort of call and response thing almost between them. Before doing that, I'm gonna like bring another collision, maybe like music box. That's nice. Lower the decay a bit. Okay, so chain over here. If you watch my videos, you know the drill. Distribute ranges equally. And now basically I can choose to like scroll between these three things, right? So these three sounds are set to like these values from 0 to 127 equally, and then I can just, you know, scroll with this little thing over here, which you can also map to a macro. Not gonna do that yet because I'm gonna bring in an LFO. I'm gonna set it to random again, and I'm gonna just map it right here. I guess this parameter might not look like very mappable, but yeah, you can map LFOs and like modulation devices to like almost anything in Ableton. Okay, I'm gonna bring in a reverb and another LFO, and now what I really like to do is to kind of play with like binary modulation. So that means, you know, two values just on and off, and I like to map that to devices. It can sound very glitchy, especially, you know, if you have something like a reverb that naturally you cannot, like, you know, hear this sort of effect of a reverb in like a physical space going on and off. So okay, I'm gonna do the same with the chorus. And also there's like this preset in the legacy chorus that just sounds really nice. Gonna do the same thing with like another LFO, because I don't want them to like turn on and off together with the reverb. So okay, I wanna make the MIDI like a bit crazier. I'm gonna start to like bring arpeggiators here. So let's say, you know, we have this arpeggiator, but again, I'm gonna like apply the same technique with my instruments. I don't want, you know, just one MIDI effect. I want like multiple ones, and I want to be able to like scroll between them. So making a MIDI effect track, same way, Command Z or Control Z on Windows, copying the arpeggiator, and then, you know, this one is gonna be like 30-second notes and 2 steps. This one is gonna be, yeah, like this, 16 notes. I'm gonna have like an empty chain, which is just, you know, these things playing. I'm gonna like bring the pitch device here. I'm gonna have one that's gonna be an octave above whatever we're getting from here. Maybe one that's gonna be 2 octaves, if that's not too much. And yeah, now all of these are gonna play together, so it's not gonna make a lot of sense. That's not what we want. Again, chain, and I'm gonna distribute all of these equally. Oops, have to do that thing first. And now again, I'm actually gonna use the same LFO as the one I have for this instrument track and map it over here. Okay, so yeah, it's starting to sound really cool, I think. At this point you have like multiple parameters that you can like actually play with. Like the pitch over here, or, you know, you have the LFO rates that So next step, I'm gonna like make this even more like standalone as a sound, almost like a full track. I'm gonna bring Impulse, this ancient drum device from Ableton, hasn't been updated in so long. And the reason I'm using this instead of like drum rack or anything else is because you have this like global time and transposition control, which is like very chaotic, and I don't know, fits my workflow and like the rest of the things I'm doing here. So yeah, I'm gonna just grab some of my my own samples that you can find in the Patreon. Let's get some snares. This one. This one. Let's get a hat as well. Something to note here, these things are like the drum rack, like they're being triggered by like C1, D1, C1, D1, etc. So so basically, if your MIDI information is not triggering these notes, these samples are not gonna be audible. And there's a workaround for this. Let me see. Yeah, sometimes they're being triggered. If you know you're playing like higher notes, you can just bring a pitch device and adjust it. Okay, what if I also bring like a vocoder right here for the drums? Some OTTs, this sample. Like that. And modulator mode. Okay, so now they're just being triggered kinda randomly, depending on like the MIDI that they're being fed with, which is perfect. It's exactly what we want, and you can like set a custom range for that depending on how much you want them to appear in your composition. I'm gonna like even map it like this. Let's see the depth and format of the vocoder. Okay, really nice. Glitchy. Maybe I want them a bit more often. So let's listen to that with the rest. At this point I want to also try like a global pitch device. Like, what if I bring everything down an octave? Two octaves. Playing with the reverb and the chorus. Okay, so I think I'm gonna like do one more thing here. You know how like now all of like our movement and modulation is like grid based and is like on 16th notes, 8th notes. It's like, you know, based on the expression control. What if I'm like, you know, I want to introduce some sort of like smoother modulation to something? I want some sort of different movement in this system. And what I'm gonna do to achieve that is come over here to like back to my instrument rack, and for example I'm gonna come to this operator and open an auto filter, and I'm gonna open another LFO. Don't hate me for how like this is like a little bit chaotic, but yeah, I'm gonna like set that to something like a triangle, and I'm gonna do this sort of rate thing, and I'm gonna like just modulate. Okay, but I actually wanna some drive for low end. You can adjust how much the frequency knob is being modulated. Okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna like take the same thing and put it on the music box maybe. Let me bring that back like this. So the reason I did that is because I wanted, while I was like controlling it, by doing this, it's basically making the operator channel audible the whole time, right? But now I'm just gonna bring it back where it was. I'm gonna come to my music box and also open it up like this. And this time let's do something like a high pass. You can play with like the offset at this point, and yeah, let's see how this sounds now. Bringing this back where it was here. So yeah, I think this is like a pretty cool system. What you can do at this point is group everything, open this instrument rack and just like map your like favorite parameters to macros, which is what I did like for this one over here. They actually sound pretty similar. This one is definitely like a bit more polished with the filters and stuff, and the how the reverb sounds. But yeah, I'm gonna like include this project and rack and everything in the Patreon for Patreon members. So yeah, if you remember, you can have this project and play around with it, and even, you know, go ahead and change the instruments, tweak whatever you like. And yeah, going back to this, maybe I'm gonna show like I'm gonna like show one last thing that I like to do with these sort of sounds that's like a bit stupid. Not gonna include that in the final project, but like there's this Saperbox plugin. I actually don't own this. I'm using the demo as I'm like doing with like a few plugins that I really like, but I'm not buying yet. And yeah, like a lot of plugins just have like functional demos where you have like a limitation, something like, you can only use one instance or you cannot save settings, which in these cases, you know, it's kind of fine. Like I'm just gonna resample whatever I get from that. So yeah, let's say, you know, I open a new resampling audio track here, and I'm gonna start recording, and I'm gonna just like even do some preset scrolling. Yeah, I think you get the idea. Obviously, I would resample everything and take all the little pieces from that and arrange it into something. But yeah, like honestly, letting this run and even like having like a nice clean kick underneath. Let's take like a nice soft kick. Turn this off, and yeah, like this can hit so hard, and I don't know, you can make so many things just with this rack, I feel like. Okay, something like this. I also brought like a drum bass last time, and you know, gave this some boom. Glue compressor would be nice. So yeah, thank you for watching this. I hope it was useful and it was fun. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with these things lately. If this is the first time you watch a video from me, like feel free to send me a message or recommend me different things to try out. And yeah, if you're not a member of the Patreon, check it out. There's like a lot of samples and rock and videos, and I'm posting things every month. So yes, bye bye, see you soon.